So Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili 2 was announced recently, and if you're a Petr Yan fan, this video is for you because you should be worried that this might be the end of Petr Yan's championship aspirations. I'm not even trolling when I say this. I genuinely think Petr Yan has a 1 to 2% chance to win this fight, and I think that just goes down to stylistically. So in this video, I want to break that down and talk about why that is. Obviously, Merab's a specimen. This guy is one of the most freakish athletes in the sport we've ever seen. He has the best cardio in UFC history, has the most takedowns in UFC history. He never gets tired. He keeps coming, keeps going. And in order to beat Merab Dvalishvili, you have to have something that Petr Yan doesn't have: finishing ability. Let's talk about Petr Yan, right? When's Petr Yan's last finish? It was against Jose Aldo back in 2020. And that was in the 5th round. Aldo is known for slowing down in the later rounds, so that's the only reason Petr Yan was able to secure a finish. If you're booking on Petr Yan winning this fight, you're basing that off of the fact that Merab is going to get finished, right? Because you cannot tell me with a straight face, look me dead in my soul, and say Petr Yan's going to outskill Merab over 5 rounds. It's never going to happen. First of all, let's talk about Petr Yan's skill set, right? Because I think it's largely overrated. Not in terms of skill, but in terms of like effectiveness, right? Because Petr Yan is one of the most skilled fighters you've ever seen. The issue is his lack of finishing ability can get him in dicey situations in fights, and also he's a slow starter, right? First of all, being a slow starter against Merab Dvalishvili is a nightmare. Like, if you're going to allow Merab to win the 1st and 2nd round, good luck in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th when he's at his strongest, when he's emoting on you, and you're tired defending the 46 takedown that he shot on you and breaking records. And I know people are going to say Petr Yan was injured in the first fight. He had a groin injury, but guess what? Merab goes into every fight injured. And I just don't think that Petr Yan's groin injury is going to magically turn up to him winning against Merab. First of all, let me give you my official prediction. I think Merab Dvalishvili is going to 50-45 Petr Yan once again. It might be a 49-46. Maybe Yan pulls the trigger right out the gate and can steal the 1st round, but I see this fight looking very similar to the first. Yan will probably hold his own a little bit better. He'll be more ready for the takedown. Maybe his cardio will hold up a little bit better, but ultimately, I think Merab will win at least 3 of the 5 rounds, and I'm predicting at least actually 4. And like I said, man, in order to beat Merab, you have to have knockout power. You have to have an ability to latch up a submission or a flying knee or something. Petr Yan has none of that. Name one fighter in the UFC Petr Yan has submitted. You can't. Name the last time Petr Yan finished someone. It was Jose Aldo 5 years ago. It's been half a decade since this guy last got a finish. So yeah, Petr Yan is a skilled technician. He's probably the best boxer in bantamweight history, right? He has underrated grappling. He's a great mixed martial artist, but the issue with this fight, as I keep mentioning, is that in order to defeat Merab Dvalishvili, you have to have finishing ability. I highly doubt in today's age with Merab getting better with his striking, and he's more active than he ever has been. His cardio's holding up even at his ripe age of 34. I highly doubt that Petr Yan is going to be able to skillfully defeat Merab over 5 rounds, because guess what? Petr Yan has good cardio, but that doesn't matter because Merab has extraordinary cardio. You cannot beat Merab just having good cardio. Everybody has good cardio at the top of bantamweight, right? O'Malley has good cardio. Petr Yan has good cardio. Umar has decent cardio. It's like everybody has good cardio at the top of the division. It doesn't matter if you have good cardio, because when Merab's in on takedown number 30 and you're gasping for air and all you can think about is defense and you can't do anything else, that's what Petr Yan's going to find himself in again. And like I said, I'm not trolling when I genuinely say I think Petr Yan has a 1 to 2% chance of winning. People are going to laugh at that. They're going to say, oh, dude, it's MMA. Anything can happen. Giving him a 1 to 2% chance is ridiculous. No. I genuinely think if they were to fight 1,000 times, I know I have on the screen 999. I think Merab would win 998 out of 1,000 times. And that's just simply because Merab is a stylistic nightmare for Petr Yan. It is almost impossible for Petr Yan to win this fight. Unless Merab slips on a banana peel, he gets injured, maybe Merab tears his ACL in the middle of the fight. But if you're telling me that Petr Yan is going to go into the fight and finish Merab, I'm going to laugh at you, because when's the last time he finished someone? If you're telling me that Petr Yan is going out there and going to defeat Merab by decision, I'm going to laugh at you, because look at the first fight. And even Petr Yan's fight against Marcus McGee, right? he proved once again that he's still somewhat of a slow starter. He lost the first round against Marcus McGee. Sure, he picked it up in rounds 2 and 3, and he was able to come back and kind of school Marcus McGee in the latter rounds. But dude, you cannot be a slow starter and beat Merab. It's never going to happen. Funny enough, imagine if Chito Vera somehow got a title shot against Merab, and you know how Chito Vera typically like randomly throws like a knockout shot in round 4 or 5. Imagine if he was the one to starch Merab in rounds 4 and 5. That'd be hilarious. But my main point of this video is that if you're a Petr Yan fan, put your bias aside and just accept reality, man. Accept reality. Merab Dvalishvili is a stylistical nightmare, and Petr Yan has barely a chance to win this fight. Like, I would genuinely be shocked if he won this fight. Merab should be like an 8-1 favorite based off of the first fight and just based off of the stylistic. The fact that Yan doesn't have finishing ability, he doesn't have submissions, he doesn't have knockout power. I mean, his last knockout, so to speak, was against Uriah Faber back in 2019, old man Faber, who was 40. And after that, he got a TKO over Aldo. Since then, he's been just decision maxing. So I don't know, man. I'm not trying to come off as a Yan hater. I do think the Petr Yan Pookie Bear glaze is getting a little out of control. You guys know I've largely picked against Merab. Most of his fights in his career, I picked O'Malley to beat him. Both times they fought, I picked Umar to defeat him. I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. I've accepted it that Merab is a freak. He's an anomaly and probably a fighter that the sport's never going to see again. We're never going to see a guy with the level of cardio that Merab has again. We just won't. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like he was created in a lab. And then when he talks about his cardio, he just downplays it like, my cardio is okay. Like, no, bro, your cardio is insane. This guy has 117 takedowns, and he's going to extend that record against Petr Yan. And yeah, man, UFC 323, I will say this, Petr Yan does deserve the rematch, no doubt about it. He's won 3 fights in a row against top competition. I do think he deserves to fight for the belt. And if you're watching this video and you're picking Petr Yan, and it's not off of bias and it's off of an actual way he can win the fight, let me know in the comments how Petr Yan wins this fight. How am I delusional for saying he has a 1 to 2% chance to win this fight? Tell me in the comments, because I know people are going to say, dude, 1 to 2%? That's ridiculous. It's not. Look at the fight. Look at the matchup. Merab, his only chance of losing, in my opinion, is if he gets a freak injury like Aspinall did against Blades. That's the only way Merab loses. If this fight goes all 5 rounds, Merab wins damn near every single time. And I just don't see a path to victory for Petr Yan. So for all the Petr Yan Glazers out there, just accept it. He's going to go 0-2 against Merab. Merab's going to be the most active and dominant champion of this generation. And yeah, at one point I was calling Merab boring. I've now shifted. This guy is defending his belt 4 times in a year, which has never been done. He's fighting every 2 to 3 months. He's putting on great fights. He's entertaining these days. Listen, I've converted from a Merab hater to a Merab fan. I can be okay with saying that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's about it. Peace.